Good afternoon, everyone. I am Coach Keon Smith, bringing you another interview from our series of interviews with business owners, CEOs, and managers of companies across Guyana. And today I have the pleasure of having a discussion with Mr. Barry Henry from Farm Supplies Limited, and Barry is the manager in charge of training at Farm Supplies Limited. So, Barry, good afternoon to you, and welcome to our interview program.
Good afternoon, Kian. It's a pleasure to be on your program. When I first thought about it, I was very excited.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you very much, Barry. We're trusting that more persons can feel and express a level of excitement. We are going to be on streaming on our social media platforms, so we love to ask the persons who are tuned in, who are viewing our interview series, to please play your part. You can like, love the video, and of course, share the video, especially with persons, organizations, companies that you believe can really benefit from the information that will be shared here today. On that note, Barry, for the persons who have never heard of Farm Supplies Limited, or the persons who have heard the name, but not exactly sure what you guys are about, can you tell us about Farm Supplies Limited?
Okay, so Farm Supplies, it's a company that was formed in the early 90s, and our main our main purpose was to provide equipment and services to various sectors, various industries such as agriculture, mining, construction, um, drainage and irrigation, sea defense, and of course, lately we got involved in the oil industry as well. Um, More or less, you can have how to say you can have a good equipment, you can have a good brand, but if you don't have the proper service behind this brand, then it's as if you have one of those cheap Chinese brands. At Farm Supplies, we're a solution-based company, and you come to us with a problem, and we try to help you out as much as possible. Um, that's about it in a nutshell for Farm Supplies.
Thank you very much, Barry. So I come if I heard correctly, you provide wide range of equipment for different industries, from the city fence to agriculture to construction, and even now for the oil and gas industry. So, persons who are listening, you can just make notes of the different ranges of products that Farm Supply uh, produce. Well, not produces, they sell. And of course, Barry's saying that they have a one-stop service, which means they can also provide servicing for the equipment. Is there any particular brands that you carry, Barry, that person should be aware of?
Okay, so out to the general public, mostly in the mining sector, when persons are talking about Farm Supplies, they mostly call it the Doosan Company. Well, Doosan is our more popular brand. We also have other brands such as Solace, Shaktiman, MPMC, Jokto, Pawnee. Um, but Doosan is our biggest brand, which more or less they manufacture engines, excavators, wheel loaders, generators, just to name a few. For the oil industry, we sold a few Doosan fork trucks. And
Okay.
aside on the sales, we also have a parts department that provide parts for all these brands, and we also have a service department. At the service department, we provide services based on customer demands or customers' requests. Um, we also have something that we call MARC, MARC. That is a maintenance and repair contract that customers can also benefit from. And we also do site visits and so on and advise the customers on the best product for their demand.
Excellent. So I don't know if I didn't hear this correctly, but Doosan is a brand from where? Where did it originate from?
Okay, Doosan is a brand from South Korea,
Okay.
and we have support from directly from the factory. So we have a very close relationship with them. We even give them feedback on how to improve products and so on.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you very much, Barry. Now, Barry, this is no secret to us here in Ghana. We are experiencing a pandemic of epic proportion. First time that we've actually had something like this happening in Guyana, where it's created both economic and social lockdown uh, within our country. So, first of all, Barry, how is COVID 19 affecting Farm Supplies Limited, and what are some of the measures you guys have implemented to deal with this?
Okay, so from the inception of this whole virus coming about and then eventually making its way into Guyana, we were monitoring it all along. And when the government stepped in with their measures, naturally we adopted. And the first thing we did was, of course, I'm sure a lot of businesses are doing the same. We install a sink and with liquid soap and so on at the entrance of the company.
Yeah,
Um, we also did some amount of uh, testing for temperature, with the thermal guns. Um, with our staff, we did some amount of, how to say, we put them in shift for the persons who aren't like essential
yeah,
or very essential. But most of our staff are essential, by the way. Um, we also made provisions for office staff to practice social distancing and by putting them in different rooms, spreading them out. Um, we also identified the susceptible employees and we had them work from home.
mhm,
Um, so that's something we like the older guys and so on. We really cherish them. They've been with our company for years, so we have to take care of them.
ex-
Um, we begin closing earlier too. We we close at 3 o'clock now. Before was 4:30, but to facilitate the employees going home and so on, with the curfew in place, we decided to close a bit earlier.
yeah,
And so far, it's working fine for us. Um, at all the counters in the company where we deal with customers, we have sanitizers. Um, we encourage and we also encourage the customers to wash their hands regularly. Of course, face masks are a must. Cannot come into the company without a face mask.
yeah.
So that's something we take in very serious. And so far, all the customers are they're comfortable. Well, they understand the situation and so on.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much, Barry. I like the part that where you caught yourself that all of your team members are essential. I think they understood what they will understand whenever they see the video what you were talking about. We have some of the persons who, because of their role and because of the slowdown in activities, may not be that heavy. So those persons we can afford to have at home, and they're key individuals who need to be there to make sure things still continue. So I think your team members will understand the direction in which you were coming from when you made that statement. But it's really good to hear some of the measures you're putting in place for the safety of your team members and of course for the safety of your customers, because everybody needs to play their part in the fight against COVID 19 in terms of reducing it. On that note, Barry, in terms of advice, what advice would you give to individuals out there, and probably even fellow business owners?
Well, there's a lot of different sources of information that you can get advice from, but we've generalized, and well, I would like to advise everybody. Hygiene is supposed to be your number one priority now. The safest thing is to keep your hands clean and away from your face. The best way to keep your hands clean is to wash it. The sanitizers provide some amount of protection, but not as thorough as washing your hands would be. We also encourage our staff to do that regularly. Um, Also, you need to stay fit and you need to take your vitamins. Make sure your immune system is make sure you're building your immune system because you never know how you might contract it if you might contract it. Of course, this virus has an incubation period where it's also transferable during that incubation period. So we'd like to encourage everyone. Social distancing, practice social distancing as much as possible. Some businesses you might have lines and so on. At Farm Supplies, we've made our waiting area a bit bigger. Also designed it to promote social distancing because not a lot of persons are allowed into the various department at at one time. The minimum figure for the parts department, for example, is three, but our security is monitoring that. So I'd like to advise you practice social distancing. Don't go out if you don't have to. Right? You need to stay home as much as possible. I know some people used to go to the gym and so on. You could practice, you could do those stuff at home. Um, that's it for me
That's
in
it.
terms of advice.
Thank you very much, Barry. Those were some very, very sound advice, reminding persons to continue to protect themselves so that they can protect others. Now, just in case we have lots of persons who tune in to listen to our videos, they may not be able to see our banner scrolling at the bottom. So, for those persons in listening only mode, Barry, can you just tell us how we can make contact with Farm Supplies Limited?
Okay, so the numbers at the bottom there, you call and you ask for the whether you want the sales department, the service department, or the parts department. And you call and you ask for that department, and the clerk will put you onto those departments. If you want to find out about our equipment sales, you can call our sales manager, Mr. Dale Van Slightman, at 686-0046. He gave me permission to give that number out.
So, can you repeat the number again?
686-0046.
Okay. So, guys, there you have it, 686-0046 for the sales manager directly. You think it said Mr. Dale or Dave?
Dale Van
Dale.
Slightman.
Dale van Slightman. So, there you guys have it. Thank you very much, Barry, for taking the time out to share the information about farm supplies with us. To all the persons who are tuned in on our social media platforms, thank you guys very much for always giving your support and for playing your role in making sure that the important messages from these organizations get out by liking, loving, and sharing the video. So thank you guys very much for tuning in.
Thank you, Coach Keon, for facilitating me. It was a pleasure. To
Thank you.
everybody out there, please beware. Please take care.
Okay. Thank you very much, Barry.
You're welcome.